I see him as Chief of Chiefs because he has a vision that goes way beyond just his First Nation and goes beyond our time and looking into the future.
Manny Jules grew up in his home territory of Kamloops and is a born visionary, a trait he inherits from his father, Chief Clarence Jules.
Very early on, I realized that I wanted to be a full-time artist. I got sidelined with politics because of my relationship and my inspiration with my father. But what I've been able to use through that creativity is being able to think in terms of 3 dimensions.
When he ran for council, I was telling him, for God's sake, not to do that. He'll be making a lot more money being an airplane designer. And his reply was, Dad, I want to do something for my people.
In addition to becoming chief of his First Nation for 16 years, Manny has served on many boards and speaks at some 40 events year-round to Aboriginal people. He speaks of economic prosperity and the importance of imagination and vision to those ends. He credits his father for his teachings.
He's always maintained a philosophy that we cannot be dependent on somebody else. We have to be able to depend on ourselves. And that means business. That means enterprise. That means freedom of thought. And so he taught me so much, and I'll be forever indebted to him. When we started Mount Paul Industrial Park in 1961, he personally went and got businesses to locate on our lands. And I know how difficult that is. So it generates more revenue for the federal and provincial governments than we get back in programs.
The income generated from the business park goes to the Kamloops Band and stems from work Manny began in the 1970s that would amend the Indian Act to allow First Nations to collect taxes on reserve lands from non-native businesses.
When we moved into Squamish taxation, we were able to put water and sewer on our reserves. We were able to build 2 new community centers for our communities, and all of a sudden we started to function as a community again because we could gather as a community.
Across the country, a number of reserves such as Millbrook, Osoyoos, and Kamloops all participate in the collection of taxes for band property to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars since the passing of the Kamloops Amendment. The results are visible and remarkable. Manny's work with changing legislation doesn't stop there.
With Bill C-20, of course, we established not only the First Nations Tax Commission to facilitate a very important governmental jurisdiction of taxation. We also created the First Nations Management Board because I believe that our governments have to be transparent and accountable, firstly to their members, but also to those that want to invest in our communities.
We now have something called the First Nations Finance Authority, where we have Aboriginal people with their own sources. We'll very soon be able to access the bond market to have even greater development in their community.
Furthering his community's prosperity, Manny created Sun Rivers, a market housing development in the Kamloops region. And like a true visionary, Manny always has his eye on the future. It's for his vision that the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business is recognizing Chief Manny Jules with this award.
I'd just like to say congratulations, Manny. Me and your mom both love you very much. We wish you every success ever.